Introduction: a brilliant but misguided scientist. Footprints Without Feet is an episode from H.G. Wells's novel, The Invisible Man, that presents the strange adventures of Griffin, a gifted scientist who discovers a way to make himself invisible. Instead of using his discovery for good, Griffin turns into a lawless person, and his selfish actions bring fear and confusion wherever he goes. The story highlights how the misuse of science can destroy both the individual and society. Footprints on a winter morning. The story opens on a chilly winter morning in London when two boys notice fresh muddy footprints appearing on the steps of a house, although there is no visible person to make them. Fascinated and frightened, they follow the footprints, which suddenly vanish, and the boys run away in terror. These mysterious footprints are actually made by Griffin, who is moving about without clothes and is, therefore, completely invisible. Griffin's dangerous experiment. The narrator then explains that Griffin is a brilliant scientist who has been experimenting for a long time to change the refractive index of the human body so that it neither absorbs nor reflects light. By experimenting first on a piece of cloth and then on a cat, he finally performs the experiment on himself and becomes invisible. This extraordinary success, however, does not make him wise or responsible. Instead, he grows more arrogant and careless towards society and law. Trouble with the landlord. Griffin lives in a London boarding house where he is disliked for his secretive nature and odd behavior. His landlord suspects him of strange experiments and decides to evict him. Angered and cornered, Griffin sets the house on fire to take revenge and then removes his clothes to avoid being seen as he escapes. Although the invisibility saves him from the police, it leaves him completely naked on a bitterly cold winter day. Looting the London store. Shivering with cold, Griffin slips into a large London store when the doors are being shut for the night. Inside, he puts on warm clothes, shoes, a hat and an overcoat, and then enjoys a hearty meal and some wine from the food section. Feeling comfortable at last, he falls asleep among the quilts in the store. In the morning, when the shop assistants arrive and discover him, Griffin panics. He quickly removes all his clothes, becomes invisible once again and manages to escape. Disguise from the theatrical company. Still needing clothes and money, Griffin breaks into a theatrical costume shop. There he finds bandages, dark glasses, a false nose, a wide-brimmed hat and a large overcoat, which help him to conceal his invisible body. He also steals some money from the cash box, showing his increasing dependence on crime. Thus disguised, he travels to the remote village of Ipping to lie low for some time. Strange guest at Ipping. In Ipping, Griffin rents 2 rooms at the inn run by Mrs. Hall, paying in advance and insisting on complete privacy. His bandaged face, heavy clothes and irritable manner arouse curiosity and suspicion among the villagers. Mrs. Hall tries to be friendly, but Griffin rudely rejects her questions, claiming that he is a researcher who needs peace and quiet. Soon his money runs out, and his behavior becomes even more mysterious. Burglary and moving furniture. Around this time, a clergyman and his wife are startled one morning to hear noises in the study and assume that a thief is stealing from them. When they rush in, they find the desk open and the money gone, but there is no one in the room. A little later, Mrs. Hall discovers that the furniture in Griffin's room appears to move by itself, the chairs and tables come to life, and even the housewife is pushed out of the room by an unseen force. Terrified, she becomes convinced that her guest is either a spirit or a ghost. Exposure and escape. As news of the burglary spreads, suspicion naturally falls on Griffin, who suddenly has money to pay his dues. The village constable, Mr. Jaffers, is called to arrest him, and Mrs. Hall demands an explanation for the strange happenings. Griffin loses his temper and begins to remove his hat, bandages and glasses in front of everyone, revealing that there is no head under the coverings. The villagers watch in horror as he throws off the rest of his clothes and becomes completely invisible. Jaffers tries bravely to hold him, but he is knocked unconscious by blows from an invisible fist, and Griffin escapes once more. Conclusion: misuse of science. Through Griffin's story, the chapter shows that scientific discoveries, if used irresponsibly, can become a curse instead of a blessing. Griffin's invisibility gives him power, but he uses it only for revenge, theft and personal comfort, which ultimately isolates him from humanity. The title, Footprints Without Feet, symbolizes both the wonder of his discovery and the fear and confusion he leaves behind wherever he goes.